all of you are studying in class 8, 9 or that level, or like 11, 12, most of you? Oh, class 6, 10th. Okay, great. So average class 8, 9, 10, right? That's great. So 1, 2 are from 11. Most of you are from class 10. All right. So I will keep the level of the problems. Mostly we will discuss the theories through problems. Okay. Because we don't have much time to discuss the lot of theories or lot of problems. So I have a plan to do that type of problems which involve some important theory or that actually already appear in some exams, in some national level exams from several of countries, in USA or some China Olympiads or something like that. Maybe obviously from few of them from India, right? Obviously we get from that. Okay, so I'm showing you the how we are going to proceed. So I'm sharing. Okay, so I don't know who is the host, but please allow me to share the screen so that I can share my screen and I can show this to everyone. The problem sheet. I don't know about the others, but I will send the problem sheet. I actually have 2 problem sheet, and I will send you the problem sheet on to the admin, actually, whoever the admin of this group. And I hope he or she will actually send all those things. Okay. Okay. Whoever it is, I will send him. Okay, first confirm that all of you can see this. All of you can see the sheet, problem sheet. Okay, great. All right. So actually I have 2 problem sheet. One is this one, another is this one. This one actually particularly dedicated to this camp, but this one is also helpful. So I will also take, please do not write. So I will also take the few problems from this particular sheet also. Okay. All right. So first of all, what is a polynomial? What is a polynomial? Anyone knows what's a polynomial? It's so I
So
no
actually chat is disabled. I mean the muting is disabled. Everything is through chat because there are some people who are.
sure. Uh, Not like that. So see, first of all, I'm starting with the very basic things. That is, what is a polynomial? All of you can see I am writing on the board. Oh, you can't see. Why you can't see? Now? Okay, now it's perfect. All right. So what is a polynomial? You can see that there is a relation between integer and polynomial. There is a relation between integer and polynomial. Why? Because if you look into integer in any format, you can see that there is a concept of base. Okay, base 2, base 10. That's right? What's the normal representation of an integer in base? The base representation of an integer is, in if I say in the decimal system, that is an 10 to the power n plus an minus 1 10 to the power n minus 1, something like this. Yeah. Observe the polynomial. It is on base 10. Actually, it's work for anything, right? The same thing actually work for any degree, sorry, any base 2, base 3, base 4, any base. So polynomial is also the same type of things. It is a structure, it is a algebraic structure, right? So a polynomial actually have structure like this: a n x to the power n plus a n minus 1 x to the power n minus 1 plus so on up to a naught. Got it? This is the algebraic structure of a polynomial. This thing is represented by some p of x. It is a polynomial. Okay, it is one variable. It is a polynomial in one variable. This way, the polynomial may be two variable, maybe. Please do not write on the board. Okay, this way the polynomial may be two variable, three variable, or multivariable things, right? That's the thing. Great. Now, why we are interested in roots? Why we are interested in roots? That's a very valid question. Because the thing is, when we first learn some number, okay, so what we learn? How to factorize it. How to factorize it. Remember that the polynomial, these polynomials also have the factors exactly of the form of a number. Like you know that any number can be factorized in this form, right? P1 to the power alpha 1, P2 to the power alpha 2, where this is a prime factorization, we say fundamental theorem of arithmetic. That's it. P1 to the power alpha 1, P2 to the power alpha 2, P3 to the power alpha 3, somewhat like this. So by the same reason, we need to factorize the polynomial, right? To factorize the polynomial, we basically think about the roots. We think about the root, maybe some x minus alpha 1, that to the power maybe alpha 1 is the root, maybe some k1 x minus alpha 2, that to the power k2, and so on up to x minus alpha n, that to the power kn. Got it? This thing is very important. Okay, this thing is very important. Okay, this number may be some complex number, not necessarily always real number, maybe some complex number. No, I am myself not very comfortable in Hindi. So all these are complex number. Got it? Complex number means those number can be represented in the form a plus ib. Those number can be represented at the form a plus ib. Great. Because not necessarily every roots are from real number. Maybe some roots are complex number, right? So that's why we can say that this is we factorized it in the real number. Great. Okay, I'm elaborating everything, but let me just say the basics. Then I'm saying and how to apply these type of things. Okay. Now the thing is that suppose we have a polynomial. Suppose I'm taking a polynomial a n x to the power n plus a n minus 1 x to the power n minus 1 plus so on up to a naught. This is a polynomial. All right. See here, this is a polynomial. Now I am taking all the roots. I am taking all the roots, that is this an or all this ai, all ais means this coefficient, this leading number coefficient. Okay, this ai basically from real number. From real number, this is the set of real number. Okay, I'm taking all these things from the real number. Now if I take all these things from the real number, so there is a problem. The problem is when you take the complex root, the coefficient may not be real. When you take the complex root, if you arbitrarily take a complex number and multiply them, not necessarily the final things that actually comes out, that is a real. But when we have a real coefficient polynomial, there is a particular way to take the roots, or the roots actually have the property. Okay, the roots actually have the property. What is the property? The roots always occur in conjugate pair. You know what is a conjugate pair? Means if a plus ib is a root, so a minus ib will also be a root, right? A plus ib and a minus ib also be a root. Why this is important and how this help? This help because when we multiply a plus ib, just observe that product of two complex number is not a complex number, where I is equal to I square equal to -1. Okay, now when you product the two roots, maybe conjugate, it is basically a square plus b square. Exactly, there is no involvement of I. That means it's a real number. It's a real number, right? And also in the same way, observe that a plus ib plus a minus ib cancel out, and this is actually equal to twice of a, right? Twice of a. This is also a real number. This is also a real number. No, the reason is I square equal to -1, right? So if you apply the formula a square minus b square here, that is actually means a square plus ib into a minus ib. What actually happened? A plus ib into a minus ib. What is happening? It is a square minus I b square. Now I square equal to -1, so that's why it is a square plus b square. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, so in a real polynomial, the complex root occurs in a conjugate pair. Please do not do this. How to remove this line? Okay, so the important thing, I am marking it by red color. It's very important. The complex root in a polynomial occurs in conjugate pair. Check it. Everyone got the point or not? The complex root occurs in conjugate pair, right? Now what I am going to say, remember properly, otherwise you never can understand, means you never can learn these things. But this particular step is very important in a polynomial. I'm saying you from my personal experience. Okay, I have attended a lot of Olympiad camps, and I have observed that this particular thing is much important in Olympiad problem solving rather than this particular factorization. Rather than the previous factorization, this factorization is much helpful. The next one I'm going to do. So see, suppose I have two conjugate roots, suppose a plus ib and a minus ib. I am taking this, and what I am doing, I am constructing a polynomial using that. So these are the two roots. So if I make a polynomial, so the polynomial will be a quadratic polynomial, right? Some x square plus maybe bx plus c. This will be a quadratic polynomial. What is conjugate pair? I just explained that a plus ib and a minus ib are called conjugate pair. Like in surd, you know that 2 plus root 3 and 2 minus root 3, something like this. These are the same thing. Okay, these are the same thing. Even this, but all this property works for surds. Means in surd, if you take one irrational roots and the polynomial is a rational polynomial, means whose coefficient actually belongs to rational coefficient, in that particular case it happened that the irrational roots occurs in conjugate pair. So remember this thing. So complex root occur in conjugate pair. Similarly, irrational root occurs in conjugate pair. Careful. Okay. So what I am doing, understand this part very carefully. What I am doing, I am taking two conjugate root and I am making a particular polynomial. Okay. So for example, I take the root a plus ib. Another thing, I am taking a minus ib and I am making a quadratic polynomial, right? I am making a quadratic polynomial. So now look into the factorization that we previously made. The factorization was this. Suppose x minus, I'm not taking the power because the powers are not important at all. This thing is x minus alpha 1, x minus alpha 2, and so on up to x minus alpha n. Suppose this is the factorization of a polynomial. Great. Suppose this is a factorization of a polynomial. Now the thing is, what I'm going to do, that I am just taking out those conjugate pairs. I'm taking out those conjugate pair. Okay. So the thing is that x minus alpha 1, x minus alpha 2, suppose these are not the conjugate pairs. I'm making it on one side. And this particular side, I am taking all those roots that occurs in conjugate pair. These are the roots. These are the roots. Okay. Means alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, all these things are basically roots of the polynomial. That's it. Now what I am doing, I am taking this x minus alpha 1, x minus alpha 2, x minus alpha n. Some roots may be real. Please stop this.
So in options, you can disable annotations.
How to do that? I really don't know.
So you continue and remove.
Okay. I have done this thing. I've done this thing. Yeah. Okay, fine. So what I am doing, I am taking real root on one side and all those complex root on other side. Okay, I am taking real root one side and complex root other side. So what I am doing, for example, I can give you one particular example. For example, we have an expansion like this: x minus 3 into x minus 2 into x minus 3 plus I4 into 3 x minus 3 plus I minus I4, means, see, here's the conjugate. Maybe another thing is x minus 3i, another thing is maybe x plus 3i, all these things. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm not interested in real root because real roots are great, but the problem will be created by this complex root. So what I'm doing, I am taking the roots in conjugate pair and I can create a quadratic. Yeah, this is iota. That means the root over of -1. Okay, from this I can create a quadratic equation, right? Using these two root, I think everyone knows that if we have a root alpha and beta, using that I can create a quadratic equation, right? Just take this x minus alpha into x minus beta and product it like x square minus alpha plus beta plus alpha beta. Using that you can simply make a quadratic equation. So I am transforming it to a quadratic. Okay, this is the thing. And can anyone say me what will be the coefficient of this quadratic? Means it is real or it is complex? What? Real, exactly. It is real. So what we learned, next I just showing you a problem where you can understand why this thing is important. Okay, the thing is that if p of x is a real polynomial, then this p of x can be written in this form: x minus alpha 1, x minus alpha 2, so on up to x minus alpha n. Okay, these are all linear factors. These are all linear factors. Linear factor means 1 degree factor. And then all the quadratic, x square minus maybe b1x plus c1, x square minus b2x plus c2, and so on, maybe x square minus bnx plus cn, somewhat like this. Great. That is the thing. So this part, I am saying again, these parts contain all those complex root. This part contain all those complex root. Clear? Because when I just say, right, means for example, you have this polynomial x minus suppose I ask you that create the polynomial with this thing alpha plus ib and alpha minus ib. I means iota. Okay, so what is the polynomial? No, I'm not. I'm a gold medalist. Okay, the thing is that if I ask you that how to create the polynomial will be x square plus minus the sum of the root x plus the product of the root, right? Now I just say that sum of the root and product of the root both are real for this conjugate pair. So that's it. Clear? That's it. So we learned that one particular polynomial can be represented in this particular form, few quadratic and few cubic. Can anyone say me what is the difference with this one and the first one? The first one may have some complex number terms, but this one does not contain any complex number term. Clear? This thing that's I just find out right now, that doesn't have any complex term. All the things are real. Okay, that's it. Now I am showing you one particular problem. Complex number coefficient are those coefficient belong to complex number. That's it. I'm showing you one particular problem. This problem was from InmoTC camp. Okay, that's actually the official camp for the aspirant of Inmo. This particular problem was from that particular camp. You no need to find out if it is given, means if the you can just look into the polynomial, you can check the coefficient. If the coefficient are complex number, we say that complex number coefficient. Okay, this particular problem, okay, both of these problems are taken from that particular camp by 2019, because I was I attended that camp by 2019. So this is the problem. The p of x is a real coefficient polynomial. Real polynomial means real coefficient polynomial. Basically all these things are IUQM level and bit slightly higher than IUQM level. Okay, and we need to show that there exists a polynomial, there exists a real polynomial x and b, so that p of x can in this particular form. Okay, this particular form. So I am taking the problem, my board, and let's try to solve it. Okay. Pythagoras theorem in graph. How can you prove it by Pythagoras theorem in graph? Conjugate means that a plus iv into that this thing and a minus iv. These are called conjugate pair. Means you people don't know surd. Surd is very simple. Means I think everyone knows surd in class 8 thing, right? So why you don't know conjugate? Okay. The same thing in the complex number, the same thing is the conjugate. Okay. No real roots and it is increasing, then we can do it. Nothing required. Nothing required. See, P of x, right? P of x. Now, what I know that if this particular P of x, if this particular P of x is a real coefficient, then I can, as this is a real coefficient, so what I know that I can say the complex root occur in conjugate pair. Complex roots occurs in conjugate pair. Means if a plus ib is a root, a minus ib will be also a root. If a plus ib is a root, a minus ib will be also be a root. So I am writing this thing. Okay. For simplicity, I will represent the conjugate by bar. Okay. Means if I take r and take the bar, you just understand that I am taking the conjugate, because a plus ib, a minus ib, that will be very time taking and time wasting tool. So I'm not going to do this. Okay, so this is basically a plus ib and a minus ib. Instead of writing this thing, I will take it r and this will be r bar. Great. So what can I say? This thing will be x minus r1, x minus r2, and so on up to x minus rn maybe. Okay, these are the complex, these are the factorization of the polynomial. Maybe this sum of this ri basically belongs to, maybe some of the roots belongs to complex number. Okay, I can obviously write down up to this step. Great. Then what I am doing, I am keeping the real root on a side. Okay, I am keeping the real root on a side. Okay, maybe this thing happened, that there are some power alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, and so means alpha 3, so alpha n, some power like this. Maybe some things are appear for more than 2 times, right? Something appear for more than 2 times, so I can take the power, right? Now you think, these powers, can you say me what will be this power, even power or odd power? Even power or all odd power? Can anyone say me? Even, exactly. Because of this reason, p of x is greater than 0. P of x is greater than 0. Exactly. Reason is this. For example, if you have this thing x minus 3, suppose suppose one root is x minus 3, that cube. Okay, for the real root, for complex root I can't say anything like that, but the real root I'm saying, suppose x minus 3, that cube. Okay, now see that x minus 3, that cube means what? If I choose x smaller than 3, then there will be a sign change. It means that will be negative, right? That will be negative. So there will be a sign change, right? So similarly, if in every case there may be some sign change, maybe one, I can choose the x value in such a way that there is a sign change. Those people who know wavy curve method, they can relate it very carefully, means properly. Those people who know wavy curve method in inequality, that's not my goal today, but they can understand it very well. So these things are even, means I'm saying about the real part. So from here I can say the real section or the real roots have occurs, or in very good language is called multiplicity, have even multiplicity. Okay, so see, so what can I do? I'm taking the even roots and I am taking it on a side. Okay, so suppose these are the even root, x minus alpha 1, x minus alpha 2, and so on up to x minus alpha n. These all roots are even. Suppose there is a power, like this. Now the thing is, we know that all these powers are basically even. So I can simply do this thing, that I can say that this is alpha by 2, it is alpha by 2, it is alpha by 2 and whole square, and define this thing as my, suppose, a1 of x. So what it became? a1x, that square. No, if the twice sign change, then there is this thing. Suppose that there is this x minus 3 that cube into x minus 5 that cube. So what can you do? You can choose a number between 3 and 5. You can choose a number between 3 and 5 so that this is positive, this is negative, right? Exactly, 4. Why they have the same power alpha? Not alpha, maybe alpha 1, alpha 2, this thing, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, so on up to alpha n. These are the different power. Okay, everyone got this step, that I am doing this, why I am doing this? Okay, so this part done. Now they are actually have some complex part also. There is a complex part also, because we have not dealt with the complex part yet, right? We have just deal with the real part, and we just find out the real part actually have the even power. So we have done this thing. But what about the complex part? How to deal with the complex part? See, the complex part is also very beautiful. The complex part occurs in, means every root in the complex part occurs in conjugate pair, right? Occurs in conjugate pair. So if x minus alpha is a root, x, or I already used alpha, so let's take beta. Suppose x minus beta is a root, so x minus beta bar is also a root, right? Bar means the conjugate. I already mentioned that bar is a conjugate. Similarly, this thing, maybe x minus beta 2 is a root, so x minus beta 2 bar is also a root, and so on up to x minus beta n may be a root. So x minus beta n bar is also a root, something like this. Right. So do this thing, that you take this part on one side and conjugate part to other side. X minus beta 1, x minus beta 2, and so on up to x minus beta n, and x minus beta 1 bar, x minus beta 2 bar, and so on up to x minus beta n bar, right? Now see that suppose this polynomial, as I know that this is actually, every bi is actually of the form some x plus iy, or I should not write down x, maybe some a plus ib format, right? A plus ib format. Great. So now if I multiply this thing, can everyone understand that there will be two terms, one actually contain I, another part doesn't contain I. So it can be actually represented this particular form, maybe a2x plus I b2x, maybe. Understood? Means when I take the product, what will be the thing? Some term contain, some expression of x square contain I, some expression doesn't contain I. So those expression contain I take the I common and I write down in this way, and those doesn't contain I write down in this way. Okay, that is the thing. Clear? We can bar means a conjugate. Conjugate means I have to write down the things again and again. That's why I am taking bar directly. Now the thing is that here that all the things are conjugate. So can I say that when I multiply all these things, the exactly this thing will appear, but the in conjugate, means some a2x, the conjugate of is what? a2x minus I b2x. No, see, we need not to add the multiplicity here, because if x minus bi will appear for 2 times, I will write down for 2 times x minus bi over here and x minus bi bar over here, the 2 times, no problem. and do the same thing. So I will not care about the multiplicity. And if we multiply it, what I finally get? A2x square plus B2x square. And that's the final goal, right? No, I just say no, that this thing is given, that all the things actually occurs in this particular polynomial p of x is strictly positive. It's not strictly positive, maybe greater than equal to 0. So greater than equal to 0 means what? There will be no sign change. But if we take the odd power, you can see the sign change, right? Because even power actually absorb the sign, but the odd powers doesn't do this thing, right? So that's the problem. Which part I need to explain? The last step means this one, this step, this one, this second last step. Okay, I'm just saying again entire thing, that first of all I'm saying that I'm factorizing it. Okay, then I say that as this is given that p of x is greater than equal to 0, as p of it is given that p of x is greater than equal to 0. So what I am doing, I am saying that all the powers are even, all the real roots, those are real roots, have even power, because of the reason that there will be a sign change, otherwise there will be a sign change. Because if I take the odd power, so there will be a sign change. For example, if I have x minus 3 cube, so that if I take x lesser than 3, there will be negative, this cube make the negative. So that's the thing. So all the powers are even, so I take the even powers one side, all the real root and even power one side, and I can say that okay, this thing can be represented at a1x, that's square. Great. Next, the thing is that I am concentrate on the complex part. So the thing is that I know that as this is given is a real polynomial, so complex root occurs in conjugate pair. Conjugate pair. So as this occurs in conjugate pair, I have taken the roots and correspondingly they are conjugate. B1 means I have taken the conjugate of B1, that is B1 bar. B2, the conjugate of B2, that is B2 bar, and so on. Then what I have done, that I have separated these two things. One part and the other part contain all the conjugate. Now you know that if we multiply all these things, so what basically happen? That some part will becomes that doesn't contain I at all, some part will comes that contain I, right? So I have just write down this thing, and you know that as this is conjugate, so conjugate part actually occurs in means this is they are conjugate, this will be also conjugate because these are conjugate, so multiplication makes the conjugate thing again. So to conjugate multiply means what? This thing happen. So that's it. I hope most of you can understand this part. Okay, if you can't understand, then please look into the recording, otherwise I can't finish the thing. Otherwise I can't finish the thing. Okay, another important property. Now from the real polynomial, sir, if it is polynomial is strictly greater than 0, then it would have some complex root. Complex root, yes. I will share the PDF, I will share all the notes I am doing. Okay, don't worry about the notes or anything, just focus on the lecture. I will provide every material of my class. I will take 2 class in this camp and I will provide every material of my lectures. Okay, so actually there are 2 problems in this sheet on the same type. I'm showing you. One is this one, and there is this one. Okay, so the thing is that I did the first one. Okay, the second one I left for you. Okay, do the second one, and before doing the second one, I'm saying that please learn a thing. It's a very simple thing that is called Brahmagupta's identity. Please learn the Brahmagupta's identity. That's helpful in some algebraic manipulation. That helpful, and that is required for this one. That is not related to polynomial. I'm not going to teach those things, but please learn that thing. Okay, that's called Brahmagupta's identity. Brahmagupta's identity. Google it, you can find out Brahmagupta's identity. Okay. Another thing that we are going to learn first, that is called Vieta's relation, or it is another name, the relation of roots and coefficient. Relation between roots and coefficient. Okay. Yes, exactly. Pell's equation. I take one class on Diophantine equation. There I discuss the Brahmagupta's identity. Okay. The Vieta's relation. The Vieta's relation, the first thing you know, basic thing, that is the, suppose you have a quadratic equation, x square minus ax square plus bx plus c, ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. So what will be the sum of the root? Minus b by a, right? What will be the product of the root? C by a, exactly. This idea can be extended for cubic and other thing. For example, if we have cubic, like ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equal to 0. This is a thing. If this is a thing, then we can say the sum of the roots, suppose alpha, beta, gamma, the sum of the roots are basically again minus b by a. Product taken two at a time, alpha, beta. So see, here's one root, then taking two at a time, alpha, beta plus beta, gamma plus gamma alpha. This is c by a, and taken three at a time, alpha, beta, gamma. This is d minus d by a. Okay, so you can check that sign basically alter. The sign alter, minus, plus, minus. Okay, so now anyone can say that what will be happen for a fourth degree, ax cube plus bx cube plus cx square plus dx plus a. Sum of the root means alpha plus beta plus gamma plus delta will be minus b by a. Then taken two at a time will be c by a. Taken three at a time will be minus d by a. Taken four at a time, that is e by a. Means minus plus minus plus. So this thing can be generalized. This thing can be generalized. Okay. Let's take this problem. See, some of you are saying that why the problems are subjective type. The thing is that the IUCM is just a qualifying exam. At the end of the day, you have to appear for the subjective. So that's why I'm giving you the subjective things. And the second thing is that if you know the subjective, it can be easily developed to the MCQ. For example, I'm taking this problem. I'm taking this problem, right? Which one? Maybe I'm taking this problem. I'm taking two problem. I'm saying you. All of you can see my board properly, right? No one have any issue to see my board? No. Great. So suppose this is the thing. Is it possible that this particular polynomial actually have two real roots? Okay. So if it is the subjective problem, so they can give this type of thing. If the thing is given in IUCM or pre-RMO level, they can do this thing, that how many polynomials are there, how many polynomials are there that actually have this property, right? Great. So the thing is that what will be the problem? So all these things are quadratic, right? So the thing is that quadratic roots means what? Quadratic root means this will be The first polynomial have two roots, means b square minus 4ac greater than equal to 0. Everyone know quadratic equation, right? B square minus 4ac greater than equal to 0. Then for the second one, a square minus 4bc greater than equal to 0. For the third one, c square minus 4ab greater than equal to 0, right? Now we can actually say this thing, that b square greater than equal to 4ac. We can say b square greater than equal to 4bc, and here can I say c square greater than is equal to 4ab. Okay, two real root here, strict inequality. Thank you. Strict inequality, because the roots are distinct, maybe two. So maybe it's not saying distinct real root, two real roots, so maybe repeated. But this inequality is impossible. Why? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Why? Why this inequality are impossible? No, not adding. Not adding. Multiply them. A square b square c square greater than equal to 64. A square b square c square. Cancel out 1 greater than equal to 64. Is it ever possible? It's not possible. Contradiction. So this is impossible. Another problem I'm going to show, that is this one. I'm going to do this particular one and this particular one. Okay. All of you are enjoying the class. See, mathematics is nothing but just you need to enjoy. Otherwise, you people learn everything. Okay. In mathematics, don't think Olympiad as a what I say, this life-changing exam, or not like that. Okay. Take the Olympiad like a game. Okay. The thing means all those people, all of those my student actually qualified up to INMO level, means my student actually have qualified up to INMO level. I don't have any student up to IMO level. All those things actually enjoy mathematics. They don't have these type of things that I have to do mathematics for this thing. They just enjoy the mathematics. So enjoy the mathematics. No need to do. Yes, obviously. I just told you, right? I attend the INMO TC camp. That particular last problem actually from my own camp, means my own camp means I attend that camp. Okay. Oh, you are too much young in that case. I am an undergraduate student. Okay, see. Find all the polynomials. Find all the polynomials. Yeah, my age is 19 plus. So we need to find out all these polynomials whose roots are real. Okay, any of you know AMGM inequality? How many of you know AMGM inequality? Very simple inequality, right? That I'm just stating the inequality, that is the average a1 plus a2 plus a3 plus so on up to an divided by n is greater than is equal to root over of the nth root of a1 a2 so on up to an, where all these ai's are greater than equal to 0, right? Am is greater than equal to gm. This portion is known as am and this portion is known as the gm, right? I'm just going to apply this inequality. Arithmetic means, geometric means, and harmonic means. Exactly. Will you do causes words? No, I'm not going to teach inequality. Someone other going to teach inequalities. I'm just going to discuss some polynomials problems, and through that as much theory we can learn. Okay. Great. So see, what can I do? So this type of problems certainly comes in IOKM, right? In the 5 marks problem. So what to do? See, you know that all the roots are from -1, sorry, all these things are from -1 and to 1, right? This is the thing you know maximum at most. So the thing is, what will be the sum of the root? Either +1 or -1. Sum of the root, either +1 or -1, right? So suppose I'm taking that x1, x2, x3, so on up to xn, is xn is the roots of polynomial. Okay, these are the roots of polynomial. Now I am going to apply I'm going to apply the Vietha's relation, sum of the root. What will be the sum of the root? x1, x2, so on up to xn. It will be plus or -1. Plus or -1, exactly. Okay, what will be the product taken two at a time? x1, x2 plus x2, x3, and so on, maybe up to xn, x1. Again, plus -1, right? Great. Now I am looking into this thing, x1 square plus x2 square. See, whenever you have these things, what comes to your mind? That it is something like square. X1, this formula comes to your mind. I'm writing down x1 plus x2 plus x3, so on up to xn. That square is equal to x1 square plus so on up to xn square plus twice of x1, x2, and so on up to xn. So remember this thing, always remember this thing, that you can play with this formula. This formula is really important. So I'm looking into this x1 square plus x2 square, so on up to xn square. Okay, this thing. What is this? This is nothing but x1 plus x2 plus so on up to xn, that square, minus twice of x1, x2 plus so on up to xn, x1, right? Now this is what? Now doubtlessly it is always positive. Doubtlessly it is positive, right? Yes or no? Yeah. Now the thing is, this is -2, it will be plus or -1. Plus or -1, right? Now can I say that whatever plus or -1, it will be always lesser than equal to 3? Because it is given the coefficient belongs to plus or -1. It is always lesser than equal to 3. It is possible. Now on this section, I am applying the AMGM inequality. What can I say? Can I say this thing, that x1 square plus x2 square plus so on up to xn square divided by n is greater than equal to the nth root of this thing, x1 square, x2 square, and so on up to xn square? No, AMGM cannot be applied on the negative, but here I have square, right? So square. So why I can't apply? Now can anyone say me what will be this value? 1. Very good. This value is 1. So can I say that x2 plus x1 square plus x2 square so on up to xn square, this is greater than equal to n? So this value is greater than equal to n, and again I know that this is lesser than equal to 3, right? So n is lesser than equal to 3, right? So see, your problem is just reduced to a single case. That means when you read this problem, it is very difficult. It seems like how to do this thing, but now it is very simple. All the coefficient belongs to +1 and -1, and degree is hardly 3. So you can just check those polynomial with degree 3 that actually have the real root, and the coefficient are from plus and -1, right? So 3 things are possible: either some linear, either quadratic, or cubic. Only 3 things, and that's it. No, not 3 polynomials. I'm saying degree of the polynomial is 3. So here, this problem for IOTM can be developed like this. What can be the maximum degree of the polynomial? What can be the maximum degree of the polynomial? This question can be asked, and this is the thing. 5 marks for the 5 marks problem. This is a good one, right? So this way, the polynomials problems are basically developed for IOTM. I'm saying, but your main strategy should be prepared for INMO level, because people got stuck at the INMO level. Okay. Another thing I'm going to teach, that is this particular one, and this really help us. I'm showing you 2-3 more application, and 2-3 more applications on the factorizations and everything, and that help you. I already told you for several times that I will send you the PDF. So please focus on the class, not on the PDF or anything else. Please focus on the class, because you get the PDF, but you may not get me for the next time. Okay. So, for the previous one, the reason is that using AMGM inequality, I find out the maximum value of this sum is n, and this particular thing is lesser than equal to 3. The screen is frozen now. Okay, great. Now using AMGM inequality at this step, I find out the maximum value of this is n, and I find out over here that this particular value is maximally 3, right? 1 into -2 plus -1. So -1 can be, so what will be the maximum value? 3 when I choose -1. So the maximum degree will be 3, right? That is the idea. Now this one. Before going to this one, I wish to introduce something called intermediate value property. Intermediate. No, I doesn't teach anything on over YouTube. I am a faculty of Chinta Ganit Kendra. Okay, www.chinta.com. I am a faculty over there. So that's it. So the thing is, you can mail me. I have a website. Okay, I will show you everything. Okay, I have a personal website. You can directly contact me with that through that website. Well, so the thing is that intermediate value theorem. Please focus on the class. For the question answer, this type of general question answer, I will give you 5 minutes. Okay. So intermediate value property. I'm not going to very detail on this thing. I'm just I am just going to discuss the basic things that are required. So see, suppose we have a polynomial. Okay, suppose this polynomial, this is my x-axis and y-axis, somewhat like this. This is x-axis and this is y-axis. This is x-axis and this is y-axis. Okay, I think everyone knows that this side is positive for x-axis, this side is negative for x-axis, this side is for y-axis, my bad, and this is negative for x-axis. Now the thing is that suppose a polynomial is going like this, from positive of x-axis it getting to negative of the x-axis. So it must have to cut the y-axis. From the positive y-axis it comes down to the negative y-axis. So it should cut the x-axis at some point, or maybe the opposite. It is from the negative y-axis is going to positive y-axis. It should cut at a point. Yes or no? So this will be the root. So what is a good condition for existence of root? The existence of root can be proved like this, that if I can just show that there is a sign change. See, every time it is not possible for you to compute the root very explicitly. For example, when you are looking into a computer, what a computer do you really think that he find the roots? No. What he do, he actually try to figure out those points where it is getting positive to negative or negative to positive. They just figure out this thing. See, if there is a root, the polynomial is either getting positive to negative or negative to positive. This is the thing. Okay, just looking into this thing, I can say a lot of things. I can say. Okay, for example, I'm going to write down a very important lemma. Then I'm getting back to this particular problem because the time is very short. The thing is, if we have a odd degree polynomial, this is a very important line. I'm just going to show you one example of this. If we have one odd degree polynomial, then there is a root, means a real root, means a odd degree polynomial confirm that the existence of real root, cubic, fifth degree, 7th degree, whatever, but the even degree may not. I'm saying you the reason. The reason is, for example, I'm just showing you an example with the cubic. Okay, the same thing work for any odd degree. You can generalize it. Suppose you have a cubic ax cube plus bx square, real polynomial means whatever I am saying, the real polynomial ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. So see that if I can just show that there is a sign change, we are done, right? If we can show from the last property, intermediate value property, if I can show that there is a sign change, we are simply done. Yeah. So we are going to prove that there is a sign change. How to prove the sign change? The sign change can be proved very easily. The sign change can be proved. Suppose I am taking a x cube common. I am taking a forcefully x cube common. So what is became a plus b by x plus c by x square plus d by x cube. Right? I take this thing. So now I forcefully take it common. Now you think for a sufficiently large x, like means like near to the infinity. Take it to infinity. So if you take a very large value, so what's going on? This particular thing actually getting to 0, because it is very, very small or tends to 0. So what will dominate the sign? This x cube and this a. This x cube and a, right? So it will depend on the sign of ax cube. Okay, now I am taking x tends to very large, maybe x I take positive. If I take x very positive large number and a is also greater than 0, then what happened? This will be a positive. Now I'm doing the opposite thing. I am taking x very small to the negative infinity, very, very small. So what will happen? This thing will be go to negative. very small, negative, so it will become the negative. So one it go to positive, one it go to negative, so there will be a sign change, means one particular root must exist. Okay, that's the thing. And that's why when you look into the curve of odd degree polynomial, you always see that the curve is this type, means one going to negative infinity, another going to positive infinity, or maybe this type. But if you sometime is happen that the even polynomial may have this type curve, maybe this type curve, means both of these thing goes to the same side, both of these endpoint go to the same side, right? But the reason is that the thing is that you take positive infinity or negative infinity, the power, if it is an even power, the sign never gets changed. This is positive to positive, negative to positive. So that's the thing. Can we prove that one more way is if the coefficient are real and the conjugate pairs? That's another way. Now recall one of the last method we do. What we say? We say that complex root occurs in conjugate pair, right? Now what we know, n degree polynomial must have n many roots. N degree polynomial must have n many roots, right? So if all the roots occurs in conjugate pair, that means we find out two pairs every time. But if the degree is odd, then one things actually remain unpaired, right? So for a odd degree polynomial, that pair that remain doesn't have any conjugate pair. So what happened? That gives another thing. Touching the x-axis. Touching the x-axis is not that much required at this moment. Okay, not that much required. But just focus on the crossing the x-axis and that's it. Okay, now if you focus on this particular problem, this one, no, not this one we are talking about. So I'm not going to solve it very explicitly, but what you need to do, you just need to show that so that all the zeros of, the polynomials are real, right? So what you need to show, that there are no need to find out the roots properly, just prove that there are some sign change, and that is sufficient. Okay, so everyone can do this problem, or I should find out the boring things? I think everyone can solve it, right, in home. We can check our putting arbitrarily values. Okay, now another thing that I'm going to discuss, that why the condition, all of you can see the PDF again. Okay, we are running out of time, so I'm not going to discuss everything, but let's focus on this particular problem number 9. Okay, problem number 9, what it says, f of x and g of x are non-zero polynomial and f is x square plus x plus 1, so that f of x has even degree. This particular polynomial, this thing can be developed in IOKM in different way, that what can be the parity, what can be the parity, it maybe if n is the degree, then what will be the remainder when n is divisible by if I divide n by 2. This type of question can comes, right? But the thing is that we know that f of x must have to be even degree, so remainder will be 0, because they have to make the integer side type, so they will develop the things in that way. But then more or less the thing will be this, right? Now how to prove this problem? That's how to prove that degree is even. Okay, let's now all of you can see the blackboard again, or any problem? Yeah, fine. Yeah, basically we are going to show by the contradiction. We are going to show this thing by contradiction. Okay, thank you, it is very well. Okay, fine. So the thing is that, and this problem actually have one another important idea. I have select the problem in a different way, means very selectively I have taken this problem, so that through one problem I can basically discuss more things, 2-3 things. Okay, It's because I know that it is very difficult to discuss these type of things in only 90 minutes. So that's the reason. Okay, so this is the polynomial, right? F of x square plus x plus 1. Not possible for me. I'm actually very busy. Okay, fine. Now the thing is that if x square plus f x square and plus x plus 1 and f of x and this thing, how to show this type of things? Okay. Okay, great. So the thing is, suppose f of x is a odd degree polynomial. Nothing required, just observe how beautifully we can solve this problem. The thing I particularly say that develop your thinking. Okay, that's the important thing. No one will care what the exam you qualify, what the from which college you study. No one will care. The thing is that what's your beautiful thought, that the thing. Okay, I will give you my contact detail, all of you can contact with me. Okay, the thing is that x square plus x plus 1 equal to fx plus into gx. Now the thing is, suppose f of x has a odd degree. F of x is a odd degree polynomial. Okay, degree of f of x is odd. So if f of x is a odd degree polynomial, I can confirmly say that there is a real root. I can confirmly say that there is a real root, right? Suppose alpha is a real root. Alpha is a real root. Now if alpha is a real root, so I am putting this alpha. So f of alpha square plus alpha plus 1 equal to f of alpha g of alpha. Right, now this is 0. So what happened? F of alpha square plus alpha plus 1 equal to 0. That means alpha square plus 1 is also a root. Yes or no? Yeah. So this is beta. Suppose I take this. Okay, suppose I am taking it by alpha 1. I am taking it alpha 1. Okay, so alpha 1 is a root, right? So I can say that alpha 1 square plus alpha 1 plus 1 is also a root. Now, can anyone say me alpha 1 is greater than alpha or lesser than alpha? Alpha 1 is greater than alpha or lesser than alpha? Greater than alpha, exactly, because I am adding two positive quantity. One is alpha square plus 1. I am adding with alpha. So that's why it have to be obviously greater, right? This have to be obviously greater than alpha, right? But now you think, now say me, it is strictly greater or something different. Maybe equality occur. Strict inequality because of this 1, right? The alpha square plus 1 never be 0 because alpha is a real number. So that is the thing, is a real. Okay, now say me, so alpha 1 is a root. From there I get a root alpha 1, that is greater. Alpha 2 is a root. So what happened? I can create an infinite sequence of root for a polynomial. Alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, alpha 4, so on up to alpha n. Infinitely long root that never end. So is it ever possible for a polynomial? No, it is never possible. It is never possible at all. So that's why this polynomial can't have any even degree. Sorry, odd degree. This must have to be even degree polynomial. Clear the idea? So one possible idea is this, to create this thing. Please explain. Okay, sure, why not? So thing is that if I find out alpha is a root, alpha 1 is a root, I can take alpha 1 as this one. I can take, again I can put alpha 1 on this main equation and I get that alpha 1 square plus alpha 1 plus 1. That can be taken as alpha 2. Similarly, alpha 3, alpha 4 and so on. Okay. So this way we can actually extend the roots. Alpha 1 to alpha 3, alpha 3 to alpha 4 and so on, so on, so on, so on, so on. But how can a polynomial have infinitely many roots? n degree polynomial can have at most n root, right? So that's not possible at all. Oh, because this side, if alpha is a root, then this side will be 0, because I assume that alpha is a real root. So this side is 0. So f of alpha square plus alpha plus 1 equal to 0. So that now a odd degree polynomial obviously gives guarantee that this is a there exists a real root, right? Okay, great. Now again, all of you get back to the PDF. All of you can see the PDF file. See, in this particular problem, also you have to do the same thing. From here, you first need to prove that 0 is a root, then you find out 1 is a root, then 2 is a root, 3 is a root, and so on. You get this thing. Okay. So you can actually do this thing. So this thing is that find all the polynomials. In IOQM, that can be developed, find the number of polynomials. But the idea is this thing. Okay. So whenever you have this thing, you try to construct a sequence of root. Because if you can construct a sequence of root, that may kill the problem like this. Okay, problem 11 and problem 12 also have this thing. These two problems are again from the I'm in InmoTC camp. Okay, I'm not going to discuss it. You should try your own. So another interesting type problem that I'm going to discuss, we are really running out of time, but still one important type of problem is this type, problem number 6. This is also important type for problem number 8. No, I'm getting back to that problem. That is another interesting one. I'm getting back, but before that, let me discuss this one. That see, these 6, 7, and problem 8 actually have the same pattern. What's the pattern? The thing is that they have raised the power. It is 1, it is 5. See, it is sum of 1 is given. They have raised the power to 2 square, 5, 7 like this. So how to raise the power? Newton sum, exactly, Newton sum. I'm showing you a idea. Those people who don't know this Newton sum idea, I'm just going to discuss it in a brief, how to compute this thing. Yeah, Newton sum. Okay, so most of you know, so I'm not going to waste much time on this particular thing. Suppose that you have I'm just explaining with a quadratic equation, okay, or maybe cubic equation. Suppose that x cube plus ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equal to 0 is a root. Okay, this is a root. So suppose this is a root. This is a polynomial, and now suppose that pqr is a root. Right? So the thing happened is that pqr obviously satisfy this thing. So a p cube plus bx square plus bp square plus cp plus d equal to 0 plus aq square aq cube bq square plus cq plus d equal to 0 a r cube plus b cube square plus cq plus d equal to 0, and that's the thing. Now add this, what you get? A p cube plus q cube plus r cube plus b p square plus q square plus r square plus c p this is r p plus q plus r plus 3d equal to 0, right? Now the thing is that if you know the value of PQR, you can easily find out the value of P square Q square R square. If you know the value of P square Q square R square, you can easily find, means if you know these two value, you can easily find out this thing. So see, the degree actually increased by 1. Now if you need to find out more, means maybe 4th degree, so what can you do? You can multiply this equation with P, multiply this equation with Q, and multiply this equation with R. So every degree actually increased by PQR, and you get this thing, right? Then again sum it up, and this will be represented in the representation of other two. It can be represented as other two. So that's it. So this way we can actually develop the thing. Okay. Another thing, anyone have any doubt in this? The use of this thing is this, to calculate this thing. So x plus y plus z is given. So using that, you can easily find out the value of x square plus y square plus z square. Okay. Now, one by one, you can develop it to cube, then 4 power, then 6 power, then 7 power, like that. And you can check this thing. Same thing here, x plus y is given. So xy given, and that's it. Are not this relevant for IOQM? Means, for example, let's take this particular problem. Let's take this particular problem, problem number 8, and let's see. See, basically, someone can give this thing that p of x is a polynomial, blah blah blah. That actually this thing. Then they are giving, they change the bound maybe like this. They change the bound maybe like this. That it is given that p2 is greater than equal to a to the power n. What is the value of n? What is the value of a? Maybe what is the value of a? Minimum possible value of a. So these type of question can be easily developed. Oh, Newton's sum you can't understand. I'm saying. See, I'm repeating the thing again for the Newton's sum. All of you can see the blackboard again. Oh no. Now? Okay. So the thing is, for the Newton's sum, the thing is that you just need to put the value, sum it up, and observe that one particular thing, means maybe a p cube plus q cube plus r cube is basically became the it actually became a entire term containing these other 2 degrees, means square and the 1 degree less, that means 1. Similarly, you can actually represent the nth degree in the terms of n minus 1 and n minus 2. That's the thing. N minus 1 and n minus 2. Oh, sure, I can show you. No, the Newton used this thing in maths. That's why it's called Newtonian sum. That's why it is known as Newtonian sum. You can check the AOP's link also. It is the thing. So it is given that, for example, in this particular problem, it is given that how to share. Okay. See, it is given that x plus y plus z equal to 0. Okay, and x square plus y square plus z square divided by 2, x to the power 5, y to the power 5, z to the power 5 by divided by 5, x to the power 7, y to the power 7, z to the power 7 divided by 7. It's same. Now, how can you calculate the value? To calculate the value, you can construct a polynomial whose roots are basically x, y, and z. So, what will be the polynomial? Maybe x cube minus x plus y plus z, that into x square plus xy plus yz plus zx into x minus xyz, that equal to 0. Now for your simplicity, you can take it as q and take it as r. Okay. using that you can find out the value, as you know the value of this q, means the value of xy, yz and zx. So you can easily find out the value of x square plus y square plus z square, right? Oh, okay, yeah, thanks. That will be better. T cube, let's take it t cube. Take it t cube. So take it t cube. This is t square. This is t. Now the thing is that you find out the value of this x, y, z, means this square, x square plus y square plus z square, right? Now it is basically 0. So no matter. So it is basically t cube plus q of t minus of r equal to 0, right? Now here you can easily put the value of x. You can easily put the value of x. So x cube plus qx minus r equal to 0, y cube plus qy minus r equal to 0, and what to, oh, this can't be zoom. Sorry, I'm writing on the screen. So, and another thing, that is z cube plus qz minus r equal to 0. Now you add this thing. So what became x cube plus y cube plus z cube equal to plus q x plus y plus z minus 3r equal to 0. Now this is 0. That means you will find out the value of x cube plus y cube plus z cube. Right. Now you can multiply this equation, means you can multiply this equation with x. So what will become? It will be 4, it will be square, it will be another x, it will be, you can multiply this thing y and this thing by y, this thing will be y square, this thing will be y, and again sum it up. So similarly, if you proceed like this, proceed like this, proceed like this, so you can similarly we can find out the value of x to the power 5, y to the power 5, z to the power 5, x square, y x to the power 7, y to the power 7, z to the power 7, and that's kill the problem. Okay. Okay, let's move to now. Hello, am I audible? So what I'm saying, if p of x is an integer coefficient polynomial. Integer coefficient polynomial. Integer coefficient polynomial means all those coefficients are integer. Okay. Then a minus b basically divides p of a minus p of b for all a b belongs to integer. No, I'm not getting to this thing. Okay, how to prove it? Very simple, right? The proof is very simple. That is, take px as your x to the power n minus maybe ax to the power n, a nx to the power n plus b n minus 1 x to the power n minus 1 plus so on up to, maybe take it a naught, a naught, right? So p of a will be what? P of a will be a n a to the power n plus a n minus 1 a to the power n minus 1 plus so on up to a naught. And this is p of b means a n b to the power n plus a n minus 1 b to the power n minus 1 and so on up to b naught. Subtract it. So p of a minus p of b is equal to a n a to the power n minus b to the power n plus a n minus 1 into a to the power n minus 1 minus b to the power n minus 1 and so on up to a naught cancel out, so nothing to, so there a naught simply cancel out, right? Now I think you know that a minus b always divide. Oh, by the way, those people who don't know number theory, this sign means divides. Okay, 4 is divisible by 2. We write down in this way that 2 divides 4. Okay, a always divide a to the power n minus b to the power n, right? Using that condition, what can I say? That a minus b divides or pa minus pb, or it can be stated like this, that pa minus pb always divisible by a minus b, right? No, for odd this thing works. A to the power n plus b to the power n is divisible by a minus a plus b. This is work for odd. Positive. The reason is obvious, because if you just a minus b divide a to the power n minus b to the power n, if you just replace b by minus b, so you can check that a plus b divide a to the power n plus b to the power n. That's the thing, because n is odd. That case, for the odd case, for odd n. Okay, so I don't get the scope to show you the application of this thing. Okay, one application is this one, the problem number 4. Okay, the problem number 4, actually I have taken this problem from IMO. Okay, IMO 2005. This is a corollary of the IMO 2005. I have taken this problem for this reason, to show you that IMO problems means not very difficult problem always. You just have to make the approach. I don't know it is possible or not, but okay. So I'm just taking this problem. I just quickly discuss. I think Asrit is there in the class. Asrit, can I just do a single problem? This problem, because everyone can.
Yeah, so there's no class at 7 o'clock today, so you can continue for 10 minutes if you're fine.
Okay. Hardly I take 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that. Okay. See, how can we beautifully attack IMO problem? Maybe it is a first IMO problem to some of you. You can check, means it is not exact IMO problem. This particular problem first appeared in 1979, I think, in USAMO, one USAMO camp, USAMO exam. After that, this particular problem was given in a handout by some trainer like me on 2005, the camp in USA. Then suddenly in 2006, this particular problem appeared in IMO. So that was a nice coincidence. Means this is just a corollary. and this particular corollary is really important. Then this problem was appeared in 2000 Putnam exam. Those people who know Putnam, that's great. Those people who don't know can check the Putnam exam. That's the thing. So these particular problems appeared in several of exam. Problem 5 in IMO 2006 exactly. Okay. So this is the last problem for the class. This is maybe I finish the class with a beautiful IMO problem. So let's do. Okay. See what I am doing. I am taking a number x, any arbitrary number x. Okay. Then what I am doing, I will define a sequence like this: xn equal to p of xn minus 1. Okay, means x1. What is x1? That is p of x. I take this x, I plug it, whatever be the value, that is my x1. What is x2? x2 means p of x1. Okay, x3 means p of x3, and so on. In simple word, this means nothing but p of x. This means p of x. So xn basically nothing but p of xn minus 1. But can all of you realize that it is the same thing that is stated over here, that I am taking the composition for n many times. P of so on up to this p of x. Right? That's the thing. Now, this is given that this is an integer coefficient polynomial. This is an integer coefficient polynomial, right? So as this is an integer coefficient polynomial, so what can I say? I can say that x1 minus x2 divide, because x1 and x2 are integer, right? For this is given that for some integer x, so I'm taking that particular x. So x1 minus x2 basically divide what? P of x1 minus p of x2 by the last property. Everyone got this thing or not? But this is what? X2. This is what? X3. Next, what can I say? X2 minus x3 divide p of x2 minus p of x3. What is p of x3? X2. X3. This is x4. Right? X4. So what can I say finally? I can say finally that x1 minus x2 divide x2 minus x3. x2 minus x3 divide x3 minus x4. Like this. And this chain continue. This chain continue. Not telescopic. Continue like this. Yeah. Can say telescopic like things, but the thing is like that. But again, you think that after a time, your xn is basically what? Same as the initial x, right? Same as the initial x. So p of xn plus 1 will be what? Same as x1? Yes or not? Xn, by this definition, it is given that xn is basically same as x, because this is given that this thing is same as x. This is given. That's p of for n time, this is equal to x. So xn equal to x. So now I am taking sorry, my bad. Here I should write down p of xn, not this thing. P of xn equal to x1. That means xn plus 1 equal to x1. Right. Similarly, I get this chain repeat, right? X plus n plus 2 equal to x2. And this chain repeat. This is a periodic, exactly. This is a periodic. That means what? That it continue like xn plus xn minus xn minus 1 divide xn plus 1 minus xn plus 2. But remember that these two quantities are nothing but same. This one and this one are basically same. Not equal, but yeah, equal, but not as a value. Because x1 is same as xn minus x plus 1, x2 is same as xn plus 2. So obviously their difference are same. Yes or no? Now if these two terms are same, now one obvious thing, suppose a divides b, means b is divisible by a. So what, समझ नहीं है last वाला, do you understand this thing that x1 is equal to xn plus 1? So if so, because the reason is that ap xn equal to x by the definition, this is given that xn equal to the in composition of p, that is equal to x. So that is the thing, is xn equal to x. That's the thing. Okay, and xn x1 minus x2 divide x plus n plus 1 minus xn plus 2. Okay, that's it. Now it's simple, it's done. Now the thing is that, so a divides b means what? A obviously lesser than equal to b, means 2 divide 4. That means what? 2 must have to be lesser than equal to 4. It is ever possible that you take a large number and divide it, dividing the small number. It is not possible, right? You are taking a small number, you are dividing a large number. That's the idea. Same thing we are doing over here. So what can I say? That x1 mod of x1 means the absolute value is lesser than equal to x2 minus x3, lesser than equal to x3 minus x4, and so on, lesser than equal to xn plus 1 minus xn plus 2. Right, now as these two terms are equal, so everyone can understand that all these things should be equal. All these things should be equal. Semi. Very good. All these terms are equal. So what can I say? That xi minus xi plus 1 is same as the xi plus 1 minus xi, right? No, the mod values are same. Mod values are same. No, I can't say like this. The mod values are same. Now you see, because minus 2 also divide 4. So I write 2 divides minus 4. 2 divides minus 4, but 2 is not smaller than minus 4. So mod of 2 is lesser than mod of 4, minus 4. That's the thing. That's the thing. Now finally it's end at this point that you take those xi plus 1 for which the term is minimum. Means if we look for x1, x2, so on up to xn, one particular value will be there, right, which will be minimum. If you look into some real number, you can find out few values, right? One particular value which is minimum, one particular value which is minimum among all those things. I'm taking that particular value, that minimum one. So this is a minimum one, this is a minimum one. So now see that xi, as I choose this is a minimum by my choice, this is a minimum, it's minimum. So what's going to be? It have to be positive because xi is larger than xi plus 1. It's because it's minimum. It's also minimum. So what? Xi minus xi plus 1 is, as it is minimum. So it is positive, while this side will be negative if I remove the mod. Sorry, I plus 2. Now that means it's cancel out. It means xi equal to xi plus 2. Xi equal to xi plus 2 means what? Finally we find out that x equal to x2. X2 is what? X2 is nothing but p of x. and you are done. See, your first INMO problem. You saw means we solved the INMO one. How much practice we need to do per day? See, if you really enjoy the Olympiad, then you can do 100 problem per day. But if you really think as an exam, then you never can do this thing. Okay, I have a website. This is the website. How to send the message? I don't know. Okay, I'm writing the my website. It is my website. Here I upload my materials and a few of the stuffs that I made for the students, my student. And there is a contact option. You can contact with me. No, I doesn't teach anyone offline, sorry. Even I doesn't teach personally. I only teach through Synth actually. Okay, so this is the thing. DEY. No, I'm not going to share my WhatsApp number. There is a contact option. You can directly contact with me. I in general reply within 24 hours. No, I'm not going to share my WhatsApp number. Okay, so no problem. There is a block option, right? If you too much spamming, then I will block simply. Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoy your first session with me. I will take another session on Diophantine equation someday. Okay, thank you.
We don't have a class at 7 o'clock, so our next classes will be at 9 o'clock. So everyone can join by 8:55 or something. Yeah, thank you.